Greetings, Your Majesties. I honor you as I honor myself. My name is Kathia Bruno, and I would like to welcome you to Honor Thy Royal podcast, The Self Love Journey. Um, yeah, so usually I'm a little bit more prepared. You know, when you're listening to music, this thing is cool in both ears, but yeah, yeah. Um, so I wanted to talk about this series before going into it. A, I've never had these types of talks and conversations with God before now. Um, and while I'm still on my own self love journey, you and the side eye, go that way. Go that way. All right, dude. Somebody would like some love himself. But anywho, while I'm on my own self love journey, and these things are new, I am new to entrepreneurship. I am, instead of all the things I'm not, here's my goal. I hope in sharing the things that I'm learning through Honor Thy Royal, um, more people will, you know, gain new perspective. I'm not out here trying to change anybody. I'm not trying to sell anybody a dream. Um, I only know how the Lord deals with me. And where He has nothing but good things that He wants for all of His kingdom citizens, let's go. So the new series, I still don't know what the title is. I just know what it involves. And that is kingdom relationships and kingdom marriages. At first, I didn't want to, share because I'm like, well, everybody wants something different from their marriage. And where that is true, God has some specific things that are non-negotiable within a marriage. A lot of our marriages end in, high divorce rates. The first time marriages are 50%, up to 50% in divorce rate. Second marriages are in like the um, mid 60% and in divorce. And part of the reason that is because marriage does not have a universal meaning that everybody can like connect to. So if marriage means one thing to you and that's the only way you see it, then you're limiting your own power on your own marriage. If marriage is something that you've only experienced through Disney or, books, someone trying to sell you a dream, you're not going to be able to deal with reality when reality slaps you in the face. Um, but being as though people don't know how to value themselves and refuse to take accountability for certain things. Connecting and, tying your soul on purpose to someone that's holding you accountable and expecting you to hold yourself accountable, it's a lot different than having multiple soul ties that are only superficial because marriage is beyond, you know, blood of my blood. It is a three chord that is not supposed to be broken. And the only way it would be broken is if one or two of the people in the chord of three decide to break it. One thing I will say is in dealing with me, a kingdom marriage is different from the type of love story and marriage that happens between two people who just trust each other to be there for, you know, whatever amount of time. I know this person is always going to take care of me. Like, she really loves me. I know this guy really loves me um, because he always comes back. Um, but whatever the case is, in a kingdom marriage, you have to. I don't know how else to say it, but in a kingdom marriage, you have to know your place. So in a kingdom marriage, it's God, husband, woman. In a kingdom marriage, it is also God, the groom, having a covenant with his bride, which is the church, which is you and your spouse on purpose. So if you look at the person that you are purposely tying your soul to as your lifeline. Yeah, I like that. If you look at them like they are your lifeline, and now you are about to get into a partnership with God, you're about to get married to God. So now, husband, nobody is above you except God. And if God is above you, then that means everything that you're doing is supposed to glorify him, is supposed to honor him, is supposed to honor the covenant that you have chosen to enter into with God, the groom. When it comes to a wife, she is no longer in control of, like, that's not a nice way to put it because a lot of people just don't want to be responsible. But a wife submits her life to her husband. That's really how that's supposed to go. Like, a wife is supposed to be able to close her eyes and trust that every single day her husband has nothing but the best interest for her life by having nothing but the best interest for his life. And that means doing all of the things in his life that honor God, who is above him. And because he made the choice to get married, he is deciding to put his wife's life above his. She submitted her life to him. So he now has her life in his hands, spiritually speaking. And if that is the case, That means the husband has his life and her life to consider in everything that he's doing. And in everything that he's doing with consideration for his wife, it's supposed to also bring honor to the kingdom of heaven. And the only way to do that is to make sure she is keeping God and her husband in the forefront of her mind at all times. So if he is starting to slip up, she can still go to God. She won't be able to, help him get through everything, but she knows she can go talk to God and he can help him get through everything. Likewise, if a man is married, God is above him. And if men honestly appreciated what marriage is, you would appreciate your wives so much more, because everything that you are supposed to do as a husband before God is literally what women are supposed to do as wives before their husbands. But many men will never look at it that way because that would probably bruise their egos. I'm not a wife. No, you're not. However, you are part of the bride, which is the church, and the church is inside of you. Um, Also, I am divorced. So it's not like for the people who are going to feel as if I'm attacking them. I'm not. I say all the time, a lot of times when I go back and watch these things, it's like I'm talking to myself. It's a message in there for me too. Um, and these are live, so there's no pre-recording. For this episode, I only had like a few points that I wrote down because it's not complete yet. Um, Also, side note, um, I I will not um, I will not have an episode for next week. I'll be back the week after. Um, I'm Yeah, I'll leave it there. I have some things going on, and yeah, I won't. I'm leaving tomorrow, and I won't be back until Monday. Um, so yeah, glad I got that out the way. I'll still post something about it. Um, can you go do that somewhere else? Then there. Um, for so anywho, I'm divorced. Um, So it's not like, I had some perfect marriage and a perfect world and a perfect bubble and no issues ever. Um, so as a divorced person, I know why my marriage did not work. From start to finish, I know exactly why. I know where I did not listen to God. I know, at every point I know. So in hindsight is 2020. So in allowing God to work on me and having to explain my thoughts and actions to the people that I trust to hold me accountable, you know, honesty hurts. But once you deal with the truth, it's like, all right, this can't hurt me again. When you get married, it's a choice. If you are not happy with your choice, or your choice is just, not good for you or your life, or your well-being, you get out of it. Um, and if you married the wrong person and God, you know, wants you out of it, He is going to remove people however He sees fit. Um, but when you are starting over, you get to start over from a place of experience and understanding if you allowed yourself to process what happened, the pros, the cons, what went right, what went wrong, what was indifferent. Once you process all of those things, you are now, getting ready to move forward with more information than you had before. When you know better, you do better. And doing is an action that only you can do for you. And I include myself, which is how I got to this point here. Um, so, and also for the people who are married and they're not sure if, excuse me, and they're not sure if they have a kingdom marriage, anything kingdom requires um, your permission because it is a covenant with the kingdom of heaven. So if you were married before you knew God, or you were married, you knew God, but your connection to him wasn't that strong. If you are married and you just had an argument 3 seconds ago, in addition to the people who are looking to get married, I'm going to challenge you to honestly look and see your spouse. A lot of people will, just use their 2 eyes, but God is so amazing, like, He put us in plain view of each other, but we cannot see each other. And there are people who are married right now, they would, forfeit their lives to save their loved ones, but they don't know how to be in love with each other on purpose. Part of the reason is because we don't look at each other. Like, I can look at somebody and, you know, I see you superficially. I can tell you the color of your skin. I can tell you the color of the clothes you have on. I can't, there are going to be a lot of features, however, I don't remember about you. For me, unless, somebody um, is memorable for some reason, like my short-term memory is scroll, 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 scroll. Oh, okay. I saw you last week. Oh, okay. Um, but like when you are in a soul tie on purpose, the entire kingdom of heaven protects you. Bear with me. When you are in a kingdom marriage, when you are in a marriage where the husband and wife, both spouses, are choosing to bring down heaven, understand that that means all of heaven is watching everything you do. And one theme throughout the Bible is that God wants people, spouses, to come together often. Often. That means all of heaven is rooting for you. Don't know who's going to win tonight, but they're rooting for you. And every time you come together, it's supposed to, you know, deepen the connection that you have with your spouse. A lot of people can come together and they're tying themselves to this person, their emotions, their life, their spirit, but they have absolutely no connection to that person's soul. So if you're in a marriage, if you have your spouse, you love this person enough to bless them with a kingdom spouse, which is you, or a kingdom spouse to be, look at your spouse, look at your lover, look them in the eyes, and don't say anything. And I know it's kind of like I'm silly. I'm going to start laughing. However, you get to a point, and the reason I laugh is because it's like, oh, okay, it's a little creepy, a little getting a little too deep here. I don't want you looking at my soul. But like when you're looking into the eyes of the person who is supposed to be your mirror, supposed to be your other half, which is a reflection of you. Look them deep into their eyes and don't say anything. Your spirit and their spirit, even if you're upset, even if you just argued 3 minutes ago, words are not needed. And like I said, I didn't have anything planned for this episode, but we're here now. And if you are, you know, if you just had an argument or whatever, my spiritual father said not too long ago, don't let the sun go down on your anger. So whatever the issue is, I'm not willing to lose you over it. I'm definitely feeling however I'm feeling about the situation, but come give me a hug. I may not want to hear your voice right now. Don't say anything, but come give me a hug. Um, what else? Oh, and when you're allowing your spirit to purposely um, dance with, flirt with, or caress the spirit of your spouse, that means that you are letting go of all pride and all ego. For a lot of men, oh, my wife is supposed to submit to me, and we've left out the barefoot and pregnant part, but she's supposed to do this, 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 and this, and she's supposed to earn my love and earn everything that comes with my love. Look at her. Without her, you would either be with someone that is detrimental to your spirit and well-being, or you would marry somebody who is empty and is draining your spirit. But when you have somebody who, again, you and this person are choosing to bring down heaven through your marriage, that means every time you come together, you're making God happy because that's part of what, marriage is supposed to be for. Um, but to be able to like touch somebody's soul on purpose and not feel dirty about it, not feel, again, that whole being chased through the woods. Yeah. Ugh. Ugh. I don't want to be touched by anybody who's not mine or not for me. So like I'm a hugger. I'm a hugger, but I do not like being touched by like random people. But like if I meet somebody and I'm like talking to them for like ever, um, hour or two, however long it is. By the end of that talk, I'm, ready to give them a hug or whatever. But like I don't like being touched by people, especially random people, because like I I have my reasons. Like I feel my skin's very sensitive, so I don't want to feel everybody's touch. I don't. Um, yeah. But yeah, that's it. Let me see what else. I definitely challenge you to just gaze into each other's eyes. Don't say anything, just gaze into each other's eyes and, see what your spirit does. Maybe you'll both feel a spark and then laugh. Maybe um, you'll do it without telling your spouse what's happening, and you will be able to feel their love without you telling them what's happening, and they might be able to feel yours. Maybe you'll do it, and you'll be skeptical about it and stop doing it because this is dumb. Um, Either way, you gave it a try. And it's not a one and done thing. Forever is a long time to get it right. So if this is the person that you're choosing to be married to, you're already married or you're about to get married or have been married to, say to each other, I am with you and you are with me, and we are going to bring down heaven for each other. Um, if you are if you're married to somebody who is not a big talker, not a problem. Whatever it is, come up with something from your marriage vows, for crying out loud. Whenever something is happening, whenever you're about to depart from each other, you say this to each other. Even if somebody is upset or scared, you still say it to them, and both of you say it to each other. That is, in my opinion, it is renewing your vow, renewing your covenant to each other before God. You are, I only know how God has dealt with me. So I will always begin my prayers with, Lord, I thank you for who you are in my life, and I thank you for where you are in my life. Regardless if I'm going through something, He's right there with me. He's already at my victory because He already wrote for a way for me to get out of it. God doesn't sit there knowing each and every, little thing. The enemy has dominion. So God says, you can do whatever you want on this plane up until here's the list where the enemy cannot cross. And if he gets close to crossing that, God is going to step in with or without your consent. Um, but when it comes to, and even with that kind of covenant, the enemy doesn't actually create new ways of trapping you before your marriage, during your marriage, after a divorce, in a relationship. The enemy does not create new ways. He just, finds more clever ways to trap you, and God is going to write a way out for you. But stop letting the enemy trap you. And this is where self-discipline comes into play. And if you're not good at disciplining yourself, you don't want to be with someone who has to feel like they have to discipline you. That's why a lot of wives feel like, it's another child. I have to always do this, 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 and this for you. And if I'm always doing it for you, who's doing it for me? This is also how people become unequally yoked. You take the other person for granted. Um, you take for granted the things that they do with and for you. You take for granted um, how your life was without them, before them. So then we become complacent instead of challenging ourselves to, you know what? My wife does this, this, and this all the time. Let me thank her. There was a whole song. You should tip me. You should tip me. Um, Likewise, husband is always doing X, Y, and Z instead of, well, that's just a man's job. Um, mm, mm. Instead of saying something like that, understand if it were any man's job, then any man could do it for you. But no, it's not any man doing it for you. It's your husband. He could be with anybody else, doing it for anybody else, but he's not. He's doing it for you. Nobody else, just you. Likewise, to the husbands and husbands to be, your wife, though she is emotional, she understands that men are more. Mm, Men can feel more deeply. And because of this, you know, we don't mind catering to you. A mother caters to her children. A wife tends to her husband. It is not husband tending to children and wife unless he is a good man. But when your wife is tending to you, it means she's listening to your dreams that you can't share with your homies. She is carrying nations in her body that are meant to carry your legacy, your name, your honor. And she is going to do everything that she can to protect her life, her body, her mind, her spirit, to bring you your child, to bring you your glory. And because she is the only life bringer that you will have, why would you try to kill your life bringer by suffocating her with little affection? Yes, you could find other women and she could find another king. But if you choose to be the very best version of yourselves to and for each other, regardless of what social media depicts a relationship as being, you're going to be perfectly okay. Okay. Um, so yeah, I think I'll end it there. Yeah. Oh, one last thing, I guess. Yeah, I'll share it. Um, in addition to coming up with something, even if you just say, "I love you, baby," and whatever your spouse's name is, like, look at them and let them know, "I love you, and here's 3 reasons why I love you." And you gaze into their eyes while you tell them that. And, you don't have to if you're if they don't know what, the gazing is for, they may be caught off guard, and maybe they'll have an answer, maybe they won't, but keep doing it. Keep doing it. Keep gazing and keep talking to each other while looking deeply into each other's eyes. Because with every conversation that you intentionally have, trying to get closer to your spouse's soul, it makes you that much more honored to protect that part of your soul. That's why they're your other half. Um, yeah. And repeat some promises that you have toward each other or together, think goals that you have together. Speak them out loud to each other. Confess them with your lips. If you're waking up in the morning, I don't know, you know, you should wake up and greet them however you greet them. Before you leave out the house for work, you should have another greeting for them. Um, when they get home, you should have a greeting for them. Before you go to bed, you should have a greeting for them. And you'll start to notice, like, just because, well, you'll want to start talking to them just because, or want to start telling them things just because. And the more you do this, the more you're going to strengthen your soul tie. And so long as you, husband and husband to be, are making sure you're keeping God in your in the forefront of your mind, then that means you are honoring your duties as a husband to your wife and as part of the bride to the groom who is God. And also as part of the bride who is going to be married off to the bridegroom. Yeah. I think if more people understood, like, why marriage is so important, other than its key benefits, also cons, but why it's so important, I think we would have longer lasting marriages. I also think if more people knew what it really meant to value themselves and value the honor that they carry, there would be less infidelity. Um, even having, aside anything, you are indulging in activities with somebody who does not value themselves the way that they should. And in so doing, you are carrying out acts that are decreasing your value. That is someone's daughter, that is someone's son, that is somebody's king to be or king, that is somebody's queen to be or queen. if you can't be trusted honoring the choice you made in the person you chose to be with, good, bad, right, wrong, or indifferent, through hot girl summers, through gray sweatpants seasons, through sweater weather. If you can't honor the choice that you made in the person you chose to be with, again, you're decreasing your value and thereby decreasing the value of the life that has been submitted to you as a husband or the life that has sworn to care for your life before God, wife. But yeah, like I said, I will not be here next Tuesday. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this series. I don't know everything it entails. I just know it's gonna be good. Um, and also gave me new direction for how I'm writing. But yeah, I truly hope that the people who are married and are choosing to stay married also make a choice together to bring down heaven for each other. For the people who are not married and want to get married, I hope that you want to pursue, I hope you want to create a kingdom marriage on earth as it is in heaven. For the people who have been married and are celebrating anniversaries, I hope that your marriage continues to like bring down heaven because as a choice between you and your spouse. And I hope that the people who are around you get to receive an overflow of your blessing from your union. For all of the parents um, who have found happiness, joy, companionship, and the blessings of heaven in their marriage, whether it's the first, second, or fifth, congratulations on making it. I'm trying to be like you. Um, but yeah, when you make that choice of somebody to be with, there's absolutely nothing that should top that adrenaline. Like like I said, I'm not a jealous person. I am very, very possessive. What's mine is mine. Period. So for me, I'm going to protect it with my life. It's mine. It's mine to do so. I'm not going to protect somebody else's dream more than they're willing to protect it. And I wouldn't expect that from anybody else. So what's mine is mine, and I'm going to take care of it as I every possible way I can and find new ways to keep going. But other than that, you know, I feel like if people understood what pride is, pride in the wrong things are a sin. But if I say I take pride in being able to protect what God has entrusted me to protect, and I'm doing a great job at protecting it, that's an honor. And I take pride in being able to carry out that duty. Um, and if He blesses me with, you know, people in my life that I can, you know, attached to my heart, that's my inner circle. I love them like no other. They get parts of me that other people will never get. And guess what? It's perfectly okay. And if I can think like this, then, I know they say you should not expect you from other people. But if I can think, hey, I don't have to be jealous of what you have. That's all you. You like it, I love it. Likewise, I don't need you to be jealous of what I have. What I have is what I have. You still have what you have. You still have to protect it. You still have to nurture it. You still have to grow it. You still have to breathe life into it. You are a life bearer. What am I getting jealous for? We're supposed to bring down different pieces of heaven. You have your own spirit for a reason. I have my own spirit for a reason. And if we're meant to be around each other, our spirits will never have to feel on edge at all. We're building. We each have different things to build. We're life bringers. We each have different visions, different dreams, different goals to bring to life. And for men, you guys are the actual laborers. You are the actual builders. We can do it, but you're supposed to do it. There's a big difference. And if that's something that you're supposed to do, that means that that is an honor, that is a task that God has given you to take care of for Him in partnership with Him. He gives you life so you can do His will. And you only know what His will is the more you connect to Him. And if you're not married, you don't have, somebody's eyes that you're gazing into. So you're going to find a scripture that you can internalize, and it'll be like from God's mouth to your lips as you read it. Because every single scripture in the Bible, you can internalize it, but there will be some that, are just for you. And as a man, you submit to God, which also means you're supposed to teach other young men how to submit to God. Women are supposed to teach both men and women. That's why they are mothers. They are teachers. Men have a duty also. You're supposed to teach young ladies how and why they're supposed to remain young ladies. Now we're about to get into a whole nother episode topic. Yeah, okay. Until next time, adjust your crowns and honor thy royal. All right, Tigress, I'm done.